1999 Breeders' Crown coverage continues, and Mike, coming up next we have the Glamour Boy division, and very glamorous 3-year-old pacing colt who's done Canada very proud this year is a colt named Blissful Hall.
Quebec owned, but he's trained by Milton, Ontario's Ben Wallace, and he's stable right here at Mohawk Raceway.
Blissful Hall, he's threatening to go wire to wire, and he is! Blissful Hall has taken the 45th cane pace!
Blissful Hall's he's just been a great colt this year. He's absolutely been super on the racetrack, has been well documented, but he's been sound, and his attitude and his confidence level has probably stayed at right at the top of the game since we started with him in the spring.
He comes on the outside with every stride, looking for it, but he can't catch. Blissful Hall winning the Little Brown Jug. World record, 3 heats, divided. A Triple Crown winner all the way. Blissful Hall and Ron Pierce 151-2. Harness Racing's Triple Crown champion of 1999. Oh, what a way to finish the century.
I think anybody in the Breeders' Crown, just by being here, it's the capping off of probably a great year, because they wouldn't be here if they haven't had a very respectable year along the way. And to win the Breeders' Crown is like the icing on the cake.
Well, Mike, trainer Ben Wallace may be underplaying the fact that this horse has had a sensational year, not a great year, an incredible, absolutely incredible season.
The 3rd straight Canadian-owned colt to win the Triple Crown. There haven't been that many of them, but Canadians have dominated in that Triple Crown action. This horse, I would have to say, the best Triple Crown winner we've seen yet. He's done it on all size racetracks, not only in the Crown, but in other races as well. Holds numerous track records.
Mike, he has a lot to gain here this evening, not only the money and the glory of winning this race, but possibly U.S. Horse of the Year title with a win tonight, possibly.
Well, he will have to win this race without a doubt to snatch Horse of the Year from Self-Possessed, who we'll see later on.
A look at the rest of the field in here. The early season sensation is also going to face the gate in this one. We're talking about the Ponderosa, winner of the North America Cup and the Meadowlands Pace. But as you said earlier, it's been a case of what have you done for me lately, big fella?
Well, recent barn change on this one may help him, may hurt him, don't know. But he will have to race better than he did in his elimination, where he took back. He was coming on late. He just barely got in the final. Campbell, though, may have been timing him and waiting for this big one to wrap up and win tonight. He would go out on a high if he were to do that.
We're going to send it into the paddock area. Jason Portwando standing by with the man who's going to send out 2 Breeders' Crown finalists here in the 3-year-old pacing colt division.
Well, no doubt, guys, the horse to beat going into tonight's race is Blissful Hall, a serious candidate for Horse of the Year. But you know what? If a guy can pull off the upset, it's this guy right here beside me. Brett Pelling has had 4 Breeders' Crown victories to his credit. Has a 1-2 punch in here once again like Per Henriksen did, so perhaps you'll follow in his footsteps. First, let's talk about Art's Conquest. There he is on the screen right now. You got a hot and up-and-coming driver in Eric Ledford.
Yeah, Eric looks like he's going to fit the mold of a top driver, and he's a small guy. The horse is kind of a tiny horse. He likes to be driven aggressively, and Eric seems to like his style of racing.
Last week, a big mile from your horse. This horse was parked for most of the race, providing the cover to the eventual winner in Blissful Hall. Let's talk about tonight now. Post position number 3. What is the pre-race strategy going in?
Well, probably very much the same as last week. I'm sure he's not looking to get packed out as early as he was last week, but last week he raced the race of his life, and I'm sure Eric's very confident in what he can do, and he knows he can use the horse, so he's going to be in the race at one time or another.
There's a look at the second half of your 1-2 combo, Grin from ear to ear. This horse will be in post position number 7. A different style, though. He likes the front end. That's where he'll be tonight, probably?
Yeah, he's just a bit bully off the gate. He likes to grab the lines and get charging, and he's a tough horse. He's raced 9 times in the last 7 weeks, and he's charged out there every time, and I don't think he can outspeed Blissful Hall, but he's going to make Blissful Hall do a lot of work, and whether it sets it up for anyone else, we'll have to see.
All right, well, thanks very much for this, Brett, and best of luck.
Thank you.
All right, guys, back to you.
Okay, thanks a lot, Jason, and thanks to Brett for those comments. He's got a couple of young guns recruited to drive his colts here tonight. Eric Ledford aboard Art's Conquest, Chris Christopher aboard Grin from Ear to Ear. Mike, you're looking elsewhere. You're going for the glory here. Blissful Hall all the way.
Well, I was a big fan of the Ponderosas back around North America Cup time. Picked him to win that one. Was very happy when he did. He has been off form. He's made breaks in the cane, made breaks in the jug. He comes into this one. He's going to have to be better than he was in his last few starts. The Ponderosa, I think, is an upset type of horse. He has the motor to do it when he's on top of his game. Don't know if he's there yet. Maybe the swimming that he's been doing lately will bring him into shape. But the horse on the board, on the screen right now, Blissful Hall, is the focus of attention. He is 2-5, a heavy favorite here. Hit the board in 23 of 25 this year, and he's won, or even favored in, I should say, his last 11 in a row.
Blissful Hall, he is an explosive individual. I have never seen the sheer speed of a horse when asked to pace for a piece of a mile. In the third and final heat of the jug, this horse blew by the rest of the field like they were standing still. He did the same thing at the Messenger Stakes, rushing to the lead after the half, and he went on to win the Triple Crown that night. Dan Loisel, how about you? Who are you going for in this 3-year-old division?
Well, he blew by them in the Messenger, and he blew by them in the jug, Kenny, and he blew by them like they were tied to the pylons in his elimination of the Breeders' Crown, and I just can't see this Colt getting beat today. He's the public's choice, as Mike said, at 2-5, and if he gets beat, I'll be shocked. Jason Portwando, I call him Portwando, the prognosticator back at Woodbine. Jason, who do you like?
Well, Danny, it's hard to argue with these numbers. 13 wins out of 18 starts in 1999, over $1.1 million in the bank. Does have the track record here, which belongs to him, 151-2, tied it last weekend. All the signs point to Blissful Hall returning to the winner's circle. But if you're looking perhaps for a possible upsetter, how about Arts Conquest? Eric Ledford, we talked about him being a driver on the rise, a young guy, a perfect 1-for-1 so far in these Breeders' Crown events. And if he does win tonight in this race, he'll become only the second driver in the 1990s, in the 20-year-old range, that is, to win here in the Breeders' Crown. But Blissful Hall, no doubt the horse to beat.
That's exactly the way the public is going, Jason. Blissful Hall right now at 2-5. Any possible value horses out there, Mike? What about the Ponderosa? You get 2 for the price of 1, and you get a horse who's won $2 million races this year.
Well, at 6-1, that could be the value there. Of course, we'll all say, should he win it, how could you possibly not bet John Campbell in a big race on the OJC circuit with a horse going off at 6-1, especially a horse that's won the $2 million races this year? But I really have to believe this horse is going to have to be, as we've said before, much better than in the past. Will he be better? Well, I'll tell you, his trainer, Joe Stutzman, has changed some of his things in his routine. He was out in the field for a couple days, but he's been on what's called an aquasizer. Basically, it's an underwater treadmill, takes some of the pressure off his joints when he's training. And last week, Stutzman said he'll be okay tonight. I really doubt that he could get the job done last week, but he said he should be better next week, should he get to the final. Well, he's here. He was the last horse in his elimination to qualify in advance. He got in. Campbell timed his arrival at the wire last week pretty well. And if there is a sleeper, it is definitely the Ponderosa.
Mike, longest shot on the board right now, 90-1. David Miller aboard number 8, CPW. His mother, Central Park West, won the 1988 crown for 2-year-old pacing fillies. Any shot for him in here?
No. 1 for 20 on the year for this Colt, leaving from post 8, having to make a big boat 3rd or 4th over move. I really can't see him coming by that many horses. He might get around 3-4 horses in the last half, but I don't think he's going to be even anywhere close enough to win this one.
Mike, what about the divisional champ from last year? Island Fantasy, currently 20-1 on the board. Bob McIntosh has sent out just as many Breeders' Crown winners as any other trainer in the sport, and Mike LaChance hooks up with this Colt in here.
LaChance is a 17-time crown winner. This one has a shot as well, and we see the current odds on the horse. I'm looking at the screen at 20-1, and that really is an underlay on Island Fantasy. 20-1, nice price there.
Horses on the gate for the 3-year-old Colt Pace. 2-5 favorite, looking to seal a sensational year off with a Breeders' Crown win, is Blissful Hall. To tell us the story, here's track announcer Frank Salive.
The Breeders' Crown 1999 final 3-year-old Colt Pace. There on fan pacing, Grimfromeartoear had a flying start on the outside, and he came out with full scholarship. Along the inside, his sign of success, Blissful Hall is in a very tight spot, 4th in between horses. The Ponderosa rolling up on the outside, 5th. Arts Conquest is 6th in heavy traffic. Island Fantasy got away in 7th, looking for Art is 8th. Moving 9th down tight to the inside was Spick and Pan into that first turn, and the early trailer taken in rain will be CPW. Grimfromeartoear on the the inside. Charging up goes Blissful Hall early to the lead. Blissful Hall took the lead past a quarter of 27 seconds flat. That's Blissful Hall and Ron Pierce making the pace. They're at 3/8 completion. Grimfromeartoear left hard. He's there in second. Full Scholarship racing along in third. The Ponderosa overland from fourth. Sign of Success looks trapped in from fifth. Here comes Arts Conquest second over from sixth. Island Fantasy an inside trip from seventh. Looking for it is eighth on the outside. And the last pair are Spick and Pan and CPW. Blissful Hall got the half in 55 and 4. Blissful Hall leading into the final turn. Grimfromeartoear. That's the Ponderosa getting closer on the outside. Full Scholarship is on the inside. It's at fourth. Sign of Success waits for room from fifth. Sixth on the outside is Arts Conquest. Island Fantasy seventh. Looking for Art is eighth on the outside. Then Spick and Pan and trailing CPW. Blissful Hall, the one to catch. Grimfromeartoear has had a great trip. This is going to be some Breeders' Crown stretch drive. They passed 3/4 in 1:23 and 1. Blissful Hall turning it on. He's got 2 lengths, but Grimfromeartoear is coming out on him. And down the center of the track, here comes Sign of Success. Grimfromeartoear, Blissful Hall going to the bottom, but Grimfromeartoear has got him. Grimfromeartoear is the Breeders' Crown 3-year-old Colt Pace champion. Island Fantasy took second, then Blissful Hall and Sign of Success. Grimfromeartoear, Mohawk track record in 1:50 and 3.
Chris Christoforou avenges his second place finish with Astreos earlier tonight. He wins with Grimfromeartoear. I tell you, Ken, that's the best drive of the night that I've seen, as Christoforou left so hard there to assure himself of a pocket trip behind a 2-5 favorite. Brilliant drive, and it all pays off.
Trainer Brett Pelling and Chris Christoforou strike here with Grin from ear to ear. Mike, a gritty effort last week for this Colt in the elimination. He was under pressure most of the way. He went punishing fractions, and he dug really deep to score a head decision. The 1998 Metro and Woodrow Wilson winner scores here a decisive win in the Breeders' Crown.
And a great win there, 150 and 3, as Grin from ear to ear is smiling broadly right now. So too are his connections, the Perfect World Enterprises of New York. Trainer Brett Pelling and the happiest man on the racetrack, Chris Christoforou.
The trophy presentations and all the words from the winner's circle coming up after these messages. Welcome back to Mohawk Racetrack. Our Breeders' Crown night continues. Let's join Dan Loisel in the winner's circle, standing by with Grin from Ear to Ear's winning connections.
Well, a guy is grinning from ear to ear right now, and that is Chris Christoforou. He wasn't too happy a while ago with Astreos finishing second, but Chris, what a trip this Colt got tonight.
Yeah, it just the race worked out perfect for him, and I was saying to the other guys there that you just cannot underestimate this Colt's ability. He's proven it time and time again, and he proved it again tonight that he's the of the top horses in North America today.
When you're sitting at the 3/4 with him, what were your thoughts, Chris? Did you say, boy, oh boy, if somebody doesn't come on my outside, I'm going to pop this sucker out of the hole? And what were your thoughts?
Honestly, it was, I hope I can keep up the Blissful Hall down the lane, to be quite honest with you. But I did have quite a hold on my horse, and when we turned for home, I could tell that Blissful Hall just wasn't firing as usual, and when I tipped my Colt out, he just kept going.
We didn't get to ask you about Astreos. I'm sure he came out of the race okay. What were your thoughts on Astreos in the 2-year-old Colt pace?
Astreos raced the race of his life. He raced super. He suffered a little interference around the last turn, and he just kept coming, and he just came up a nose short. But you can't take anything away from my father's Colt, and my father's done a great job with him.
Congratulations, Chris.
Thank you very much.
Chris Christoforou, the trainer of the driver of Grin from Ear to Ear, and we now have a trainer of Brett Pelling. Brett, thrill of a lifetime.
Yeah, the horse has just been great all year, and to finish it off like this is just fabulous.
Were you confident going into this race, Brett?
Well, we knew he had gate speed, we knew he'd be close to the speed, and the way it's set up, that's just a great trip for him. That's what he loves to do, just sit there and watch, and he's so strong, he just keeps coming.
Were you at all concerned going around the last turn that somebody would come on the outside and keep this horse down on the pylons at all?
Well, the horse had been on the outside, been there for a long time, so I knew he was going to get a crack at him.
Any more starts for this Colt this year, Brett, or is that it for 1999?
No, he's going to finish out the year. He'll go to the Matron, and then he'll go to the Progress, and he'll come back up here for the Gold Cup.
Congratulations, Brett.
Thank you very much.
Brett Pelling, the trainer of Grin from Ear to Ear, Chris Christoforou, the driver, in track record time in the 3-year-old Colt pace. Kenny?
Okay, thanks a lot, Dan. Dan Loisel speaking with trainer Brett Pelling and driver Chris Christoforou. Jason Portwanda standing by in the paddock area with driver Ron Pierce in Blissful Hall.
Well, Ron, the favorites continue to fall here on Breeders' Crown night here at Mohawk Raceway. Let's get your thoughts on Blissful Hall tonight. Did he see himself?
Oh yes, he was fine. The horse, he just kind of got roughed up a little bit there the first quarter. I didn't like the way things were setting up behind the gate, so I went to the front with him, and then he started to relax down the backstretch. He started to relax a little too much, so I pulled the earplugs, and that set him off right there. I couldn't get him to relax after that, so we wound up going a pretty good third quarter, and because of that, he just didn't have a strong finish to the wire, I think. If I'd just waited and pulled those earplugs like head of the stretch, it would have been a different story, but what are you going to do?
All right, well, Ronnie, he still is a great horse nonetheless, and thanks very much for this.
You're welcome.
Kenny?
Okay, thanks a lot, Jason. Well, Mike, tipping out of the pocket, Grin from ear to ear, crossed the finish line first, but that was basically just part of his victory here tonight. Here's a look at the start.
Let's watch this tape roll right here as we see leaving from outside of the great racetrack here. And Chris Christoforou makes a winning move early in this race right there as he takes Grin from ear to ear out second, and he'll soon take over from Lyle MacArthur's full scholarship, who right now will be back in second. And as this horse, John Campbell driven, moves up on the outside, or Ron Pierce driven, I should say, Blissful Hall moves up on the outside around the first turn, will come on and take over the lead. That'll assure a pocket trip, and in this kind of racing, a pocket trip, tripped out, tipped out, that's how he won it. Great drive by Chris.
Tiffany and Company Breeders' Crown Trophy presentation right there goes to the man on the left, Brett Pelling, the man in the center, Chris Christoforou, aboard Grin from ear to ear. And for the fans that played this horse, nice value out there. Congratulations. $16.20 on the nose, some explosive prices here. Island Fantasy, last year's divisional champ, exploded late to grab second. And Blissful Hall, favorite going in, had to settle for the minor share tonight as he faded in the stretch back to third. Some nice exotic prices there in the 3-year-old Pacing Colt division. And hats off to Chris Christoforou. Mike, trainer Brett Pelling last year was the Glenn Garnsey Award winner as the U.S.'s top trainer of 1998. Chris Christoforou, a guarantee, a shoe-in to win Canada's Driver of the Year here this evening with this colt. Complete rundown from tonight's 3-year-old Pacing Colt division. Grin from ear to ear scores the decisive win. Final money there going to Sign of Success from the Robinson Barn. Looking for Art picks up the 5th place check. Full scholarship local Colt was back in 6th. The Ponderosa from the outside post position just did not do it tonight as he faded back to 10th in his final career start.